I think one of the best quotes to describe New York is, if you could make it here, you could make it anywhere. And that is so true. Because New York will eat you up alive. But you'll be better, stronger, smarter, tougher, and more equipped for life because of it. So you want to move to New York? Well, look at you. Congratulations. I'm a real New Yorker. And when I mean that, I mean I was actually born here. I was given a student Metro card, the white student Metro card. And also, I took the subway to school. That was my transportation. Yes, a real New Yorker. So you're asking yourself, should you move here? And I think I have a list of things that you should be thinking about before you do move here. This is not going to be like a technical video. I'm not going to go into statistics and like just random stuff that you're not really living. It's more of like, hey, this is what my experience is because I'm just in my thing. This is, I feel, as a real New Yorker, an overall experience from my point of view that I feel you should know before you move here. So my number one thing with anyone moving here, move with purpose. Do not just come to New York City if you're just, hey, I just want to just move here because it'll be fun. Or, oh, New York City, it's a major city and, it's so fun over there. I'm going to go. Don't come here. You must have purpose. Purpose, either you're going to school here, you're trying to find a particular job in an industry that's thriving here, filmmaking, acting, Broadway, some tech stuff, because there's a few tech things here, writing, news, media, all that stuff. Come here with purpose. Or if you're an entrepreneur and you feel like your business will do here, come here with some sort of purpose. Do not just come and just figure it out. This is not the place to, because it will kill you. It will kill you because you'll be frustrated. You won't know what direction you want to be in. You won't have a goal. And I feel like if you don't have that number one thing, it's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? The second thing is, New York is super expensive. Anywhere you go, it's expensive. You leave your house and you spend $100. I mean, it's a running joke, but it's so true. A lot of my friends, even people who I know that have like really good jobs, have either a second job or they're trying to make side income because they have to pay rent, they have to pay bills, they have to pay the subway, they have to pay taxes on stuff. And every year these things increase all the time. Especially majority of your money will be going towards like rent and living expenses like food and all sorts of stuff. And it's very expensive. You'll go to the grocery store and you'll spend like $100+ on like 6 items, so you must be aware that it's very expensive here. And if you don't have money or you don't have a way of making good money, it's gonna really, affect you a lot. Mentally, you're gonna be like, oh, hey, I don't know if I can make it this month. And you don't want to be kicked out into the street. Or worse, you can't afford anything. So the third thing is crime. So in my experience growing up here from my childhood, it was very dangerous. I grew up here in like the 90s and early 2000s. And I feel like majority of the 90s, crime was everywhere. And my grandparents and my mom and just family I grew up with, they would always warn me, make sure you don't be out too late, don't talk to strangers, don't mingle with the round crowd. They were just always cautious with me and putting it in my head every time I left the house. As I've grown up and now as an adult living here, in my experience, it's not a lot of crime as it used to be, But things do happen. But I feel like that's where you have to be aware all the time of your surrounding. Be aware, be aware, be aware. Like, I know a lot of people like to walk with their headphones in, or just they're in their own world, or just not paying attention at all, and then something happens to them and they're emotional. They're, oh, this, I got mugged, or someone did this, or I feel like you just have to always be aware of your surroundings. And what I mean by that is, you can have your headphones in, but I'm always observing, especially when I'm in public, like on the train, or I'm walking in the streets. Even if I know the area is safe, I'm always aware. And that's where your instincts have to come in, and you kind of just have to trust that. Like, this guy seems a little odd. Let me stay away from him, or let me pay attention a little more to him, because I feel, So even though I'm listening to my music and I'm carrying on with my day, I'm still aware of my surroundings. Especially on the subway, crazy stuff happens all the time. People, you could get mugged, someone could beat you up, people could start an argument with you. Sometimes people are just, doing crazy shit because they have emotional issues, and you just kind of have to deal with it. But that's where you have to be aware of your surrounding. Like, I remember one time I was going on the train, and there was an empty cart. Just an empty cart. And New Yorkers and people that have been here for a while know, if there's one empty cart on the train, you don't go in there. There's a reason. There's something happening in there. And I think these people were tourists. I assume they were. And they just went in there because, like, oh, seats. And they saw it was like a homeless guy just using the whole place. It smelled horrible. And I could see they tried to go to the next cart. And I found it kind of funny. But it's something I don't think about as a New Yorker. It's just like an unspoken thing here. So that's why you always have to be aware of your surroundings. Know what's going on. Don't just be caught up in your world, especially if you're out in public. The fourth thing is, New York will test you. Especially if you're coming here brand new. Even if you have a job or whatever, it will test you in so many ways. There's so many things going on. And if you're from like a small town, or you're just used to a different energy. Like, for example, some of my friends from the South, in their towns, they kind of know everybody. Everyone's friendly. Everyone's nice. They come here, no one cares. No one's, being their friend initially. People are rude. People are mean to them. And they feel offended by that. They're like, oh, I'm being a nice person, though. No one cares. And people will, if you're walking slow, for example, some guy or girl is going to curse you out. If you're doing something crazy and just feel like you could just be and do whatever as you please, people will say something here. So it's going to test you in so many ways. It's going to test who you are as a person, especially if you just feel like you could do whatever you want because you're in New York and you're a New Yorker. I feel like that's where like things can get kind of crazy. And it really tests you. Even if you come here and you feel like, hey, I have it made and I have this job and everything's good, it tests you because sometimes you just need to get another job and you feel like you're working basically to pay rent and you have no life. Especially if you just come and you just have no purpose. So New York will test you. The fifth thing is, New York is kind of dirty. No, I'm not even going to say kind of. New York is dirty, okay? You're probably not going to like it here. Because I've been to some other states where everything's pretty clean. But New York, it just has that aura about it. And when I mean dirty, I mean there's garbage everywhere. There's rats. Like, not some small rat. Big giant rats that look like almost like hamsters that are eating the garbage, and they're there and they're just a part of it. They're even in when you're on the subway and the platform and you just look down at the tracks, they're there just walking around eating the garbage that's there. Parts of New York, it just smells bad. Like, I remember I was on the train, on the L train here, and I think it was the Morgan stop or something. And the doors just opened, and it just smelled so badly. Just at the train stop. I don't know what it was, that wasn't my stop, but it just smelled so badly. And then, obviously, when they closed the door, that stench was still in there. So I was praying for the next stop so you can open the door so we could just, like, really breathe. It smells everywhere. It's not a pleasant place sometimes, especially in the night, and especially when it's garbage day and people just put their trash and all this in the street. It just reeks. And if you're like a sensitive person with smell, you're probably not gonna like that. So just be aware of that. If you're coming here, it's gonna smell. Even if you live in a luxury building, on garbage days, you will notice in the streets that it does smell, and you probably won't like that. The sixth thing is, and I think it's a beautiful thing, it's a melting pot of people. And I'm sure other people have said that before on here in other videos and everything. But I think that's why I, as a New Yorker, love it here. Because I feel like we definitely have the world here. There's all types of people. There's different cultures, different traditions. There's always something going on. There's even, let's not say culture, but there's people just doing crazy stuff that is just so normal for us here in New York. And it's kind of the fun of New York too. And with the melting pot, you learn so much from other people, other cultures, especially with the food stuff. Like if you're a foodie and whatever you're thinking, oh, I want Italian today, I want Indian food, I want Asian food, whatever, you go out and you have your pick of the restaurants to get the best food in town. And some of it is authentic, some of it's fusion, some people are just trying random stuff. So you have the pick of the litter, and it's all because of the beautiful melting pot of people that's here. And I think if you come here and you're sort of an introverted person, I feel like you really need to work on being more social, because just getting to know so many people here and their cultures and their backgrounds and who they are, especially if they're a real New Yorker and they've grown up here, they always want to talk to you about something. And I feel that adds so much to your experience if you do come here, and it's such a benefit for you, because you get to learn so much just from talking to people and just enjoying the real culture. Not going in Manhattan and being the city culture, but like the real culture all over the different boroughs of Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx. I don't know about Staten Island, but all the other boroughs. It's just beautiful. And I think the last tip is you will become a new person if you come here. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things. If you come here with everything you've learned, all the life lessons, everything you go through, the experiences you have, the things you see, the people you meet, it all adds up, and it really makes you a different person. I don't think you're probably going to change your personality if you're not that kind of a person, but you will be a different person. I remember talking to my friend Luke, who I just learned that he was more of an introvert, and he was in Georgia. And he told me he came to New York and he felt like he could be himself. He could speak up for himself. He can go out there and wear whatever he wants. And, if he needs to look at someone or someone's being mean or he's infatuated with someone, he could just do that. Because where he's from in Georgia, is there certain things you don't do. So I know that's not maybe the best example, but he felt like he could be a different person and be more of himself. And I think that's something I've learned from seeing people that have come here that have become my friends, is that they come here one way and they get to live here a few years and experience stuff, and they definitely change into a new person. And I think it's for the good and it's for the benefit of all, because you want to change, you want to be a good person, and then when they do visit home, they definitely feel the difference. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and tell me your comments. What do you feel were these tips helpful, or were you just like, nah, didn't like it? Let me know. Thank you.